So this is where you scattered Angus's ashes?
Yep, we've put him into the ocean here and another half.
Sandra McGivern is a mum on a mission.
All his life he swam in this ocean. He loved it here. This is where he was going to recover and rehab himself after his surgery.
Her son Angus was a promising young footballer, but when he was given painkillers to treat his injuries, the teenager became hooked on opioids. Now Sandra's demanding that GPs stop prescribing fentanyl, the drug that Angus overdosed on last year.
I don't think any addict wants to die or does it because it's fun. They basically have to take the drug to survive.
And you're pretty determined that something good comes of this tragedy?
I truly believe that the more people that understand how dangerous it is, then hopefully it won't happen to anybody else. It's not just people going and buying drugs in a back alley. It can just be your son or your husband or your brother.
Sandra's launched a petition demanding the power to prescribe fentanyl be limited to specialist doctors only. She was hoping for just 100 signatures, but now has more than 19,000, overwhelmed by the response from other families who've also lost loved ones to fentanyl. What are some of the things that people have had to say?
Here we have a lady who's written, "My daughter also overdosed on fentanyl and my sister was killed by prescription drugs. Doctors have to stop prescribing these lethal drugs."
You've really hit a chord here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's becoming such an issue and something has to be done.
How would you describe the situation in Australia right now?
Well, look at the numbers. 500 people who are dying from fentanyl-related overdoses as well. It is a disaster.
Dr. Bastian Seidel is the president of Australia's Royal College of General Practitioners. He admits we have a fentanyl crisis on our hands and concedes that a big factor is doctors who hand out the drug far too easily.
Yeah, it's very concerning, and I must admit it's quite inappropriate as well. And now we have the problem that we can't rein the prescribing in.
Why can't you rein it in?
Because it's so popular now, patients
but
are...
Isn't it the doctor's job to decide whether or not it is handed out?
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation, in particular when it's difficult to find alternatives to strong painkillers such as fentanyl.
Is fentanyl an appropriate drug for back pain, for hip soreness?
No, it certainly isn't. For cancer pain, it is appropriate to prescribe fentanyl, in particular when you've tried other medicines before. But certainly for patients who just have lower back pain, patients who just have a sore hip, fentanyl certainly is inappropriate.
Some doctors are already drawing a line in the sand. Simon Stoddart went doctor shopping on the Gold Coast to show how easy it is to get your hands on fentanyl, and the first 4 clinics he visited all handed over opioid prescriptions.
Fentanyl patch. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
But the 5th and final doctor he visits is the first to raise red flags and refuses to hand over a script for fentanyl because he believes it's simply too risky.
Yeah, no, I can't prescribe fentanyl like that.
How dangerous is it?
Highly dangerous. That is Schedule A drug that is quite addictive and that is misused. Fentanyl, I will not prescribe you like that.
And you can get in trouble?
Of course, I don't want to lose my license. This is my bread and butter.
This particular doctor took a great deal of care, made it very clear he will not give out fentanyl. He said he's had a bad experience before, and he said it's a well-known fact that how addictive they are and how dangerous they are.
What him refusing you fentanyl does is just show, I guess, how bordering on reckless some of these other doctors are handing it over straight away.
Well, I totally agree, and it's not only that, it's the fact that if he knows how dangerous it is, obviously they do as well. So yeah, reckless, 100%, you're totally right.
When it comes to fentanyl, do we have a crisis in Australia?
We have a major issue.
Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt is frantically trying to address Australia's rapidly worsening opioid problem. In addition to rolling out a national prescription monitoring database to stop doctor shopping, he's revealed to us for the first time the government is now looking at potentially restricting the use of fentanyl to patients with terminal illnesses.
But right now, at my request, the head of the TGA is reviewing, with a laser-like focus, the range of conditions for which fentanyl can be prescribed.
So what, you think someone turning up just with a sore back shouldn't be getting fentanyl?
The medical authorities will come to me with advice, but their preliminary advice is that they are likely to recommend more limited range of uses for fentanyl precisely because it's so powerful and potentially, in the wrong hands, so addictive.
As far as Sandra McGivern is concerned, despite plenty of buck passing between governments and doctors, nothing has changed since her son Angus overdosed on fentanyl last year that would prevent another young Australian from losing their life the same way.
How important is it to you that Angus's death isn't in vain?
It's the most important thing in my entire life. I can't bring him back, but I will spend the rest of my life making sure that no one else's kid gets the same thing. All opiates are a problem here, but fentanyl it's a killer.
Hello, I'm Tom Steinfort. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.